G'day guys, and happy Homebrew Wednesday. This video should actually make it out on a Wednesday for a change, which would be nice. Got a beer with me. It's still the bitter that I brewed. It's getting along really nice. It's a bit haze, but it's pretty clearish. It's got some chill haze on it. The glass has been in the freezer as well, but it's getting there. Looking alright anyway. So cheers. It's just getting better every week. I've got about 10 left, and as you might have seen before, it's the 750ml bottle, so I've got about 7.5 to 7 litres left, which is fantastic. The Cerveza, I'm going to try one this weekend, so it's been in the bottle now for about 10 days. It's the Easter long weekend here well, I suppose for everybody next weekend, so it's a 4-day weekend for just about everyone. I'm going with my sister and brother-in-law's house on Good Friday, and they don't mind a Cerveza, so I'm going to take one over. He's not an ale fan, so he hasn't really liked many of my home brews. It's not so much he didn't like it, it's just not his beer. He's not a Cerveza, he's a lager and a Cerveza sort of drinker. So these sort of stronger ales he's not a big fan of. I've actually just got back from my home brew shop, getting all the supplies for my brown ale. Couldn't get 100% what I wanted. See, this is the thing. I've got the day off work. So my local home brew shop, is not even 10 minutes away. It's literally just down the road. So that's where I generally go on a weekend or days like today where I've got the day off work. There's another one that's the same company, because this is like a company with 4 different stores, so it's called the Brew Shop, and they're about half an hour away from me. They're much bigger, so it was the initial store when this company opened, and they've then branched out. It's got everything, so it does all the milling on site, like crushing all the grains. They basically got everything, and then they send it out to these little stores. So it's fantastic having a home brew shop. Literally, I could walk there in 15 minutes if I really needed to. And they've got a lot of stuff. They've got a huge range, but I'll explain what the issue is. So I'll go through what I bought, and then I'll show what the issue. So I've got it all here. I'll show these first because I'll get them back in the fridge. No, I won't. So just this is problem number 1. So I needed about, I think it was 200 grams of dextrose. I forgot to check how much I actually had in the cupboard downstairs, so I thought I'll just grab a bag, because they normally have 250 gram bags, so I thought I'll just grab a 250 bag. Well, they didn't have a 250 gram bag, they only had 500 gram bags available, so I had to buy a 500 gram bag. Now, while that's fine, because my next brew, I usually have 200 to 300 grams of dextrose in my beers anyway, so I'll have spare for the next one. But that's basically the problem I'm getting at. The exact same for the actually, we'll go through from top to bottom. So we got the Cooper's unhopped light liquid malt extract. That's always available everywhere, just unhopped 1.5 kilos. As I said, light. Kilo of light dried malt extract. It's just a standard brand that like my brew shop does, called ESB. Just a kilo of it, all easy peasy. Okay, so this is another part of the problem. So the malt, I wanted 260 grams of Vienna malt. Now, if I went to the other shop that's about half an hour away, he'd get 260 grams, crush it for me, and give it to me. These guys only had 500 grams. So I'm going to have 250 odd grams of Vienna malt left over, which I guess is fine. I'll have to probably come up with a brew next, because I don't want to have it sitting in, one, I don't want the containers sort of lying around everywhere, but I'd like to use it as fresh as possible, so the next one's probably going to have Vienna malt. And the exact same problem, I needed like 150 grams of chocolate malt, and again 500 grams of crushed chocolate. So exact same problem. They come pre-packaged there. So these are milled and everything at the other shop, and they basically just courier them over with their deliveries for the week or whatever. But they've only got set bags, 500 grams. That's your lot. And again, I had enough here, so I needed 600 grams of Crystal 60, and they only had Crystal 80. So I got 500 grams. I know it doesn't necessarily work like that. But why are we out of focus? Hang on, let me fix that. Sorry, guys. I know it doesn't necessarily work like that. It's not as, it's a Crystal 80 as opposed to 60, so use less. It's all they had. They either had this or real dark stuff. So I grabbed this. Again, it's just easier. I couldn't really be bothered driving another half an hour to get a Crystal 60 as opposed to a Crystal 80 and a couple of 100 grams less of chocolate malt. I mean, I've paid like $4 a bag. The money I'd save on only getting the 100, 200 grams of this, I'd spend in petrol going to the other place. So let's just shovel that out of the way. Now, this is the only issue now, because I think that's going to be fine. I said I've got the USA 4, which I already had. So that's from a previous brew that I was going to do, and I ended up just using the yeast without even thinking of it. I used the yeast that come with the kit. So I want to use that because that's used by March 2017, but so it's still got a year on it, but I'm going to use that. Got the East Kent Golding hot pellets. I've got 100 grams. The recipe only calls for 30. So what I think I'm going to do, I'll do the 30 in there for an hour, as I normally would. And then I might dry hop another 30 grams or so, maybe 20, so I'll cut it in half, so I'll have 50 grams of them in the in this batch, and I'll then chuck the other 50 grams in the freezer just for the next one, because they're a pretty versatile hop, so they can definitely be used in my next brew. Now the next thing, the finishing hops. So I was going to get a particular style of hop because the recipe I wanted are Willamette hops and I can't get them. So I got these ones. So it's a finishing hop, which I've never used before. So it's Amarillo, which I haven't used that actually hop before, but I haven't used it in this way. So in here is basically like a little tea bag. And what you do is throw that into a tub of water for 10 minutes of boiling water, and then you pour it with the bag into the beer once you're pitching your yeast. So basically, just remove the inner bag and place in a cup of boiling water and allow it to stand for 10 minutes, and then add the liquid and the bag to your fermenter at the same time as you add the yeast. So the only concern is you can kind of see it. I don't know if you can make it out. You probably can't, but you can see just there. So you can see that it's like a little tea bag in there. I have to be real careful with that, trying to actually fish it out, because I might have to tie some string around it or something, because I'm just worried when it'll eventually sink, and it's going to eventually, and when I'm siphoning the beer out into bottles, it's going to get stuck in the tap. So the only thing I was thinking I could do is I'll throw them in a muslin bag inside that little bag that they're in, because I'd imagine that bag's only there for that purpose, just for dry hopping. It's almost like a dry hop in a bag. So maybe I'll put it in a muslin bag like normal, just so I can fish it out. Just throw these back in the fridge. So that's the plan anyway. So I'm going to be doing that on Sunday. As I said, it's a long weekend, so it's a perfect time. I've only got 10 of these left. So by the time I get through those 10, I'll have the 24 bottles or so in the next couple of weeks ready to go for it. Now I am going to ferment it as normal. The recipe actually says to ferment it for 7 days and then bottle it, but I'm just going to go with normal. I generally do 14 days in the fermenter, and it generally turns out pretty well. So really looking forward to this long weekend. It's only a 3-day week for me because I'm off work today. So we've got a 3-day week, 4-day weekend, followed by a 4-day week. I'm going to do some barbecuing this weekend. So on Thursday, I'm going to go to the butcher and get a nice pork shoulder and do some pulled pork. Maybe do some burritos or something. But get a nice big pork, and usually I go for about the 4 kilo pork shoulder with the bone in, and that normally takes about 15 to 18 hours to smoke until it's basically falling apart. So I'm going to do that. Haven't decided whether I'll use my Weber or the Kamado, but we'll see how we go. I do want to video it. I just keep forgetting it. The problem is I keep remembering while I'm doing something I was going to record it, and then my hands are filthy because I've got rub on them, or they've got like the meat on them, and I don't want to go and get the camera. I'm going to really try this time. I have told my wife that I want to record it. So she's going to try and remind me as well that I was going to record it. But we'll see how we go. But yeah, looking forward to this brown ale. Sorry, just get a refill. Really looking forward to making this brown ale. A couple of new things. I've never used chocolate malt. I really want to pop that chocolate malt open and have a smell of it. I've seen a lot of guys on YouTube and that using chocolate malt, and have all said that the smell is just unreal. So I'd really like to actually have a smell of it. But I'm going to save it until I open it, because I don't really want to, it's all vacuum packed and sealed and everything, and I'd really like to have it fresh. So I'm just going to take the last bit out of this. Yeah, that's fine. I noticed with one the other day that I had from the same batch, it was down in there for a couple of weeks. I noticed it was actually in the corner, and it was probably because that's where it was lying in my fridge, because with these bottles, it's very hard to put them upright in the fridge. In the corner down here where it was lying, a lot of yeast had built up in the bottle. There's none in this, so I don't know what. It didn't taste great either. The only thing I can think of was I didn't put any priming sugar in there. I think I used carbonation drops. Maybe I didn't put any in there. It was carbonated. I did get the wife to check it as well, and she agreed it was a bit undercarbonated, but it was still carbonated. It still had a head on it. So I don't know. It was just weird. There was just like the corner of it just had a little, almost like a bed of yeast in it. And the beer didn't taste as good as the others. It was almost like it was a different beer. So I don't know. It was just really strange. Really strange. So if anyone's got any ideas as to why that might have happened, let me know. Only thing I can think of, because every other bottle's been fine, including this one. The only thing I can think of that's a variant, that's something I might have missed. Because obviously I'm just getting the fermenter with the tube on it. I'm just bottle on, bottle off, bottle on, bottle off. Only thing I think of is just I didn't have carbonation drops in it, or maybe I've only put one in or something, and the yeast ran out of food. I'm not sure, but it was definitely yeast. It was like that creamy sort of sludge at the bottom, so it was definitely yeast. But yeah, real shame. I just didn't know what it was. So if you have any ideas of what it might be, please let me know in the comments, because I'll be real interested to see if you think it was user error, which it probably was. I bottled this one on my own. So normally what happens with bottling, so I make all the beers on my own, but when I come to bottle, my wife helps me, because it's just easier, because we go down to the garage. The building I live in the garage, their lighting's wrong. So basically in the night time, all the lights in the garage are off, and in the daytime they're all on. And despite me asking them to change it, and they just won't. So it's pitch black down in the garage at night. And we don't have any power in the garage. There's a power point in the garage next to us, but not in ours. So I have to basically go down, and she goes down with a torch. And even in the day when the lights are on, our actual garage doesn't have a light in it. So we get a little bit of ambient light, but it's too dark to see what you're doing. So she sits there with a torch and hands me the bottles. So upstairs, I put drops in them all. We carry them down, hands them to me, and I basically fill, there you go, fill, there you go. It's real helpful having someone to help, but on this one, as while she was overseas, and I didn't actually have any help, so I did it on my own. So there's a very good chance I've actually just missed the carbonation drops or something. Because one of her jobs is to give it, she rattles it just before she gives it to me to make sure there's a drop in it. And so maybe I've just missed a drop, but if you could let me know if you have any ideas, that'd be ideal. Not much more happening with me. I said it's a long weekend, so I'm going to try the Cerveza out on Friday. I might actually do a tasting of it, of the initial bottle, and give an actual first reaction to it. I don't know if it'll be ready, because like I said, I generally won't taste a beer. Well, it's not that I won't taste a beer, but I don't judge a beer until 14 days in. So with this one, like I said, after 8 or 9 days, I was okay with it. It wasn't amazing. I was a bit disappointed by it, to be honest, because it was my first partial extract, using some specialty grains. So I was actually a bit disappointed by it. But then, like I said in the last video, after that extra week, that just took off, and it was just that's one of my favourite beers. I could drink them all day. It's one of the best beers I've brewed. So I'm not going to be too harsh on the Cerveza, although by Friday it'll be 11 days in the fermenter. In the bottle. So that'll be 14 days in the fermenter, 11 days in the bottle. So we'll see how it goes. I'd love to be able to keg. I have got the room for it now. I had a very large saltwater fish tank, about 1,000 litres, so it was about 4 foot long, 3 foot deep and 3.5 foot high, and a sump underneath, which was 3 foot long, 2 foot deep and a foot high. That's gone now. So I have definitely got room for a keezer, if you like, and just like a tap in it. I haven't worked up the courage to ask the wife yet if she'd allow me to have a tap and a keg in the living room. But I'm also worried that I'll be drinking way too much if I can just reach over and grab and pour myself a beer rather than having to chill a bottle down. Because I purposely don't keep these in the fridge, so I can't just think I'll stuff it and just crack it open and have 1.5 litres or 1.5 litres, 750 mils of beer just for the sake of it. So I basically don't keep any in the fridge until like Friday. I'll put like 2 in for after work, because I don't really drink during the week, except for Wednesdays. This will be the only beer that I'll have now until Friday. So I don't know. I do want a keg. I've got the room, I've got the funds, I've got everything to do it. I just don't know if the wife will allow it. And if she does allow it, great, but I don't even know if I'll ask. It might be very dangerous. That's probably about it. I'll do a cerveza tasting and see how it goes. I'm hoping, because it's crystal clear in the bottle, and as you know, some beers just haze up so bad. This is the same. If I put a light up to this in the bottle, it's crystal clear, and as you can see now, it's not crystal clear, it's just, do you know what I mean? It's there, it's clearish, but in the bottle it's crystal clear. I know it's chill hazing and whatnot, but the cerveza is like clear, like you could read a newspaper through it in the bottle. So I'm hoping it stays that way, because that's what a cerveza should be, right? I mean, I don't mind an ale or something like that being a bit hazy, because that's, it's fine. But a cerveza, you're having something you really, especially because everyone compares it to Coronas now because they're in clear glasses. So if someone's having a lager or something, it's quite often in a brown glass. They can't see if it's clear or not. But if you're having a cerveza, it's always in a clear glass, so easy to judge it. But that's pretty much it from me. So the next video will be, I'd imagine, the tasting of the cerveza, which may be on Friday. I am going, like I said, I'm going to my sister's place, so I'll be having a few beers. So I might do it before I go. Pardon me. And then the one after that, if I remember, will be the brown ale that I'm going to brew. We'll see how I go. I mean, I think those brewing videos are a bit pointless at the moment, just because of the setup I've got. You're always looking at my back. It can't be helping you that much, but they're fun to make. I'll see how I go. But anyway, guys, thank you very much once again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, or just watch again. It's great. We're well over 100 odd views now, which is good. Probably got 30 or 40 likes, I think, now, which is great. Obviously, the channel's only been going for a couple of months, so it's pretty good. Still only got a couple of subscribers. As I said, over 100 views, but only like 4 subscribers. So it's, I don't know. There's a couple of people that it's sort of. I know there's people obviously watching them regularly, because within me putting them out, I generally have 4 or 5 views within the first couple of hours. So there's people watching them, and according to YouTube, people are watching them just about the whole way through. Just not too many people subscribing, but that's okay. Like I said, I didn't do this certainly didn't do this to get rich. Just wanted to give back a little bit to the community. So hopefully I've done that just a little bit. Just taking part, I guess, is giving back in itself. But thanks very much, guys. Have a great day, evening, morning, wherever you are, and I'll speak to you next time.